Hey everyone, Temporal here, and for this session we are reviewing a gold BAP player. If you guys are enjoying the content, please do like and subscribe. That definitely helps me out. Or if you are looking to get coaching yourself, you can join my Discord through the description below. And through there you can see my rates, you can connect with other people about Overwatch. As that continues to grow, we'll do more stuff with it. Maybe we'll start up some leagues, do some organizing for team play. Who knows? We'll see. But right now you can see the Recruit a Friend special, 25% off for you and a buddy that want coaching. But with this, let's get going. So let's look at our comp for a moment. We've got ourselves as our partner is Zen, and we have an Echo and an Ash. So we have a lot of poke power, which is good. We have a lot of poke power. I do not expect their Pharah to have a good time. And they're running Pharah Bastion. We'll see if that's real. You guys shouldn't struggle against that at all if it is.
Attackers incoming.
Gibraltar is a terrible map to run Bastion on.
Stop the payload.
Can live with that.
You all look like you needed some healing.
No. You aren't going to get enough value out of that. When I said that, I meant his shift there. And I do want you pivoting and healing the tanks. You're primarily on tank healing duty in this setup. Let your Zen do what he can to handle getting the heals on the Echo, of course, and he'll also check in on the Ash. You can heal the Ash if you want, but you're primarily on tank healing duty, while of course having to look out for your support. And hey, if you heal Ash while you're healing your support buddy, that's fine, but you primarily need to be paying attention to the tanks. I don't want you pivoting to heal Ash here when your Reinhardt is at half health, and oh, by the way, shots on your Reinhardt would also happen to heal Ball right now. Rhine first. You're going to focus your heals on Rhine. Ball is harder to catch, and also Ball's players are going to know that they're more reliant on health packs. It's unfortunate that your Ball is getting so much Harmony time and that you're losing your Echo while that's happening, but hey. So that was late, which, you know that was late. Not a big deal. Blue box is great if you can hold blue box, but okay, so that's fine. You're checking to see if someone's going to come through there. I don't have any reason to believe that anyone's going to come through there because I know what their enemy comp is. Against some comps, absolutely, the check there makes sense, but is Pharah going to come through there? No, she doesn't like having to walk through that enclosed space. Is Zen going to have gotten up there? No. Well, that's certainly not where their Bastion is. We know where their Bastion is, and Moira's not going to come through there alone. Same thing with this. Like, unless they did a telegraphed rotation, no one's going to be coming through there right now. Yes, a diva could, but she's not in her mech. So you don't need to be checking this, actually. You do want to be instead focused over here, going, can I help my teammates get out? Or if they try to take this position, can I start poking them to at least make it expensive that they take this good high ground positioning? Okay, so this is your game, no problem, man. Sorry, just tracking the YouTube versus Discord names and everything there versus IGN name. Good stuff. If you have questions or if something I'm saying doesn't make sense, absolutely put it up in chat, and I'll generally be happy to address it. What was I saying? It's on console. That matters, but it doesn't matter a ton. It'll make me more forgiving of some mechanic stuff, but honestly, it doesn't change very much. I don't really like you angling out over here. Please at least get by the box. This is not where you play. This is not where you play. Here is fine. You could heal your tanks. You could do your stuff. You could help your tanks enforce this corner. Here is the next best spot as, hey, you've got cover, you've got this available, you can back out to here, etc. This is just bad. You can't, even though it's high ground that isn't necessarily good enough to let you close the angle, because if you back up to here and they can still see you, they can still see you, right? So like you want this where you have the box to help you, or you want this where you have another corner, etc. You can close the angle here. Please don't stand in the middle here. This is kind of no man's land. Like, it's better than standing right here, but it's kind of no man's land. You could take the shot at your Echo. You saw her critical thing go past you, and here there's enough walls near her that you can probably get her with a right click. It's better than putting damage into Ryan's shield anyways. Yeah. Okay, leave. You're not going to get a real contest. You're not going to get a real contest. You're going to get staggered, and you're not going to stop the cart for more than 5 seconds. Leave faster. Leave harder. Go back to third point. Go back to third. Please go back to third. You are lucky this is gold and they do not know how to push. So aggressively seek staggers. Okay, so you take high ground super easy. Please do so. I'm glad that your team has turned it here, but you should already be up here playing from a different angle. Like, you should already be up here. You can be working your way over here. You can do everything that you've been doing, working your way up to here, and then be ready to push up to take better high ground once your team earns a little more space down below. Remember, if you're on high ground, you're at a different angle, so aiming at you requires them to aim somewhere different than aiming at your team, so you don't take damage that was meant for your team. You can threaten them from a different direction, which is good. You get easier headshots, and you are closer to the Pharah, so you've got less fall-off to worry about with her when you're trying to check her a bit. Okay, now you've cleanly won this fight. Your team has to take high ground. Please. Please. Please take high ground. Please take high ground. I know you were lamping because you heard a Bastion ult, but you need to actually see the Bastion. Like, don't. This is a big cooldown to spend right here for not actually being in danger. I would like to point out that sometimes you suggest things from an omniscient point of view. I don't believe he would have known their composition quite yet, since all he had done is look at his team. I'm actually very careful when I suggest things from an omniscient point of view. You're right. This particular game, I did comment on, hey, their Bastion, you know, this is a terrible map for Bastion, etc., before the match had started, but I didn't actually tell him to do anything with that information. I didn't go, because they have Bastion, you should go here. Because they have Bastion and Pharah, you should play like this, etc. I just said, oh, they shouldn't be able to do very much work with an attack Bastion, and your team is going to be pretty effective into Pharah. Nothing that I said about how he should play was based on things that I knew that he didn't yet know. I am very careful about only actually making judgments of what a player should be doing based on information that they should have. Now, the second we're 15 seconds into a match, they should know all of the opponents. And I assume that they know all of the opponents. And if they don't, that's on them because they didn't press tab, because they didn't go, oh, at the 15-second mark, it reveals. But I am very careful about, hey, they do or don't have this information, or there's no way for them to know that someone's going on this flank, etc. So I don't think that's a fair critique. If you see me doing it, by all means point it out, but I think you're going to see that I can address it pretty much every time I do, like I just did here. So I still want you to have this high ground. It really is just better. And if you look at their team, you know, if you're playing from here, hey, you're up with your Ashe, you can heal your Ashe more easily. You can still look down to heal people pretty easy. You know, they can threaten you up here with like a Pharah, but their Moira's never going to be able to threaten you from up here. Their Reinhardt's never going to be able to threaten you from up here. And you're as threatening to the Pharah as vice versa. You're closer to her, you have better hit scan damage, you can come in here for the health pack, you're supporting your Ashe, who is the real threat to her. Like, you want to use this high ground, and this high ground is incredibly strong on this portion of the map, this spaceship, and you have the easiest access to it of, like, you know, any support. Lucio might disagree. Mercy could make an argument. You have really easy access to it. Please use it. Unless you're down here specifically because your team's here and you are going to window right at the beginning of the push. But even that you could do from above. Are we going to get a good window off here? Yeah, that shouldn't have happened.
Better? Let them out.
Okay, this window's far enough away from them that they're going to have a tough time pushing through it. The problem is that they should just avoid this window. They should literally just go, yeah, we don't want this fight anymore, and just close this angle. But they're not going to because Covalescence is going. Actually, I may have been wrong. Did they pop that Covalescence before and you're windowing in response? If so, that's fine. Yeah, that window's still forming. Yeah, that's fine. You popped this knowing that they were pretty committed to their fight with the Covalescence. I actually think they would still be correct to back off and wait out both ults, but that's fine. I don't have an issue with this window. Yeah, this is fine.
Let them out.
Good lamp. Definitely don't need that shift while your trans is going, and I'm almost positive that your trans was going. You have your lamp going. Excuse me, you almost have your lamp going. Now you have your lamp going. Yeah, I hear your trans go off here, which is long before you press this shift. I get it. You probably habitually press shift after your lamp is over, and I understand why that would be a habit. Try to be a little more conscious of it, because you have a trans going right now.
You're fully healed. Need healing. You all look like you needed some healing.
Reasonable shift.
Let's do the high ground.
Okay, now we're playing with the high ground a little more.
Get in here. Step inside.
Okay.
The payload has reached.
Someone's looking out for me. Barrier in place. Barrier won't hold it. My barrier is destroyed. Barrier, regen up.
Unfortunate. You can't really take that here based on where things are, but you could have corner lamped that potentially. So let's take a look. Let's think about this engagement for a moment.
Barrier in place. Barrier won't hold it.
So basically, you're playing into a Bastion, and now Bastion is past the two parts of the map that really punish him. Bastion is no longer a terrible pick for them anymore. It's just, you know, usually the way Bastion works, you can't get going enough to get onto third here. I mean, he's still not a great hero, but he is a better hero in gold. Okay, so if you think about what your team can do to now fight this Bastion that is getting going, you've really got two good options. You can take this team out with a tire, which, hey, if you guys have called on comms that that's the plan, great, fantastic, wonderful. Or you can go, we're going to survive until the Bastion, cart, whatever, gets to about here. We're going to drop our lamp behind this corner, and we are going to hard int into this team and take this with our lamp, because the lamp is the only way we're going to survive through this Bastion. Those are pretty much your two options, and I want to see what you are doing here, and I hope that that was communicated on comms. Did he just open the angle too hard? I think this is your window. He did open the angle too hard. That's a shame. This is like right when I would want your lamp going down right here, by the way. Like this right here, because then your tanks are contesting. The Bastion isn't around the corner to shoot at the lamp yet. Like this was pretty much when we wanted to hard in to take this fight. You're going to have a real tough time getting back into this match at this point. That was sort of your last window. That was your last window. Your Junkrat still may be able to bring things back, but that was your last chance to really be the difference maker. Using lamp as an aggressive play can absolutely be legit, especially when you have something to protect it, like you did here with the corner. You can absolutely use the lamp as part of an all-in. Yes. Zen. I'd like a little more angle differential here. I'd also like you to not be standing in the middle. Yeah, so I don't want you just standing in the middle like this. I want you starting to drift to take an angle. You can heal everyone just as well from here as you could from here, and then you've got an angle, and then you can work your way up with an angle. And it becomes harder for them to press into your team if they get shot in the side when they press into your team. Or if they press into you, they get shot in the side when they press into you. And you may get to a point, if you win a team fight, where you want to hop up here and play from here. But for now, please take an angle. Don't just stand directly behind your team in the open with no cover available to you. Please work your way over here. Over here is okay. Over here would be better. And then you've got this cover. You've got this. You can do your little hop up here and take a little bit of high ground. Drop back here for cover if you need to. This is probably your this is your place to play from right here. Though I could also live with playing from here. Here. Probably don't want to be that far forward right now.
Let them up.
You're just using that to answer Covalescence again. I mean, yeah, that's reasonable. You like to use your window when they are committing with their own ult. Could have really used it before because they were going to commit regardless. They couldn't really back out. Yeah, would have been better a little bit before. Maybe you didn't have it. Did it just come up? Just came up. Okay, that's fine. It's a reasonable ult regardless. I was just looking for, did you have a window before? Yeah, okay, you use it right as they come up.
Let them up. What is that melody? The iris. I'm on fire.
Good. Now let's take some positioning. You're trying. Good stuff.
Hey.
Don't need to drop. I mean, it doesn't cost you anything. You can go back up, but you don't need to drop here. You can hit these just as easily from here. I promise. You can hit these just as easily from here, and then when they round this corner, they have to be like, oh, I'm getting shot from an Ashe over here. A Bap can peek this cover and shoot me whenever he wants, and you can still heal the team just fine. Or you can drop back to this side and heal the team if they surrender a little space, etc. Okay. Fine. You're still fine. You don't need to back off yet. Now you want to back off the Bastion set. Now you don't need to back off anymore. Keep it pushed forward.
Got you good as new.
Fire at will.
Regen burst activated.
Okay, so that Diva does not have boosters. Well, now that Diva's destroyed. I'm just saying, hey, that's another reason that you can now transition back to playing up here, swing over here if you want offensive angles, etc. Yes, I'm going to continue to harp on the high ground. We could talk about coordinating support defensives, but I honestly think we're not there yet. Even though you've overlapped Lamp and Trans quite a few times. Good? Well, almost good. Okay. So are we gonna lamp right as they try to commit to this push rather than surrender space? Or by lamp I mean window. Okay. That's just going to take some practice. You'll get it. You can make that jump. It's a little bit easier from, on this stuff where you have like the extra step of elevation, but you'll get it with practice. Your Ash goes down in there, really? Reaper and Bastion are pushing her? Is that it? Okay, that's most of a rotation coming through there. So this is just a pincer from them. Okay. This is a pincer from them. This is a tank and 2 supports. This is a Reaper with the Orisa Bastion. This is more dangerous, but this should never be able to get in. Yeah, this is just a, hey, don't let the pincer be effective. If they earn this, you guys just fall back a little and play from your previous positions. Not a big deal.
Into the iris.
30 seconds.
Activating the barrier. Hold position. You've got this. Get in here.
Again, you want to be a little more aware of cover. You don't have great cover options, but if you deploy this a little bit to the right, you can get some cover there, etc. If we look at who you're protecting with that, it was the Zarya, and the Zarya was affected just fine if we... No, that's not actually there right now. It's just how pause works.
30 seconds.
Activating the barrier.
That Zarya's fine for now. You're trying to heal her. So you're trying to protect the Zarya. And a lamp over here protects the Zarya just as well as a lamp over here. But a lamp over here, while it elevates itself partially, will be partially covered by this. We'll get about half of its surface area covered from the opponent's point of view. And that is actually good for helping keep your lamps alive longer. You want to be thinking with your lamps, hey, I need to deploy this lamp. But if I needed to deploy a lamp, what could I use as cover to help keep it alive? Like this corner we talked about earlier. Like putting it behind this pillar, like putting it behind this. You always want to be thinking about, if I have to deploy a lamp, where is it going to have some cover to still do the job? If you have to deploy it in the middle of nowhere because that's the only place it can do the job from, fine, but be looking.
Get in here.
Yeah, you saw how quickly that got deleted.
Let them out.
That's too many shots into a Sigma who's shifting. One burst of shots, fine, but at that point you can see he's shifting, he's grasping, he's absorbing the shots. Shoot elsewhere. You had other targets. Okay. I don't really want you here, but that's life.
Get in here.
So you can keep your Sigma up on point for longer than you can keep your Sigma up while you're on point. If you're over here, you can keep Sigma and therefore you up longer than you can if you're both on point. That's just how it works. At this point, now that you're down to 4 meters, yeah, you potentially transition in, but you do not need to be first to react or second to react to the cart coming in. You go, hey, I can keep you alive much longer if I'm over here, etc. And you can step in to also be in your immortality field and things like that. But in general, you don't need to go, oh, I need to be on the cart. I need to be the one to make sure it doesn't close when you're a support. You're a BAP, like a Zen, like an Ana. You can do a lot more work at keeping the enemies from getting in by keeping the targets that actually can contest the point alive for longer. I was checking for the Reaper, I think, at that point. You were checking for the Reaper. I might have missed when you said that. So let's take a look. Yeah, you're here in the middle, and that's not a Reaper thing. That might have been a pop your shift thing, but if so, it was late. Yeah, sorry. I don't know when you said I was checking for the Reaper at this point.
Initiating match. Ready for battle.
Omnic in my squad took his own
Oh,
life
got
rather
it.
than
Got
be
it. He was
controlled
checking
by
to
a
see if the
man.
Reaper was up there. Got it. That's fine. I mean, I want you up on the high ground a little more often. It's pretty good, but that's okay.
Don't just stand around. Do something.
He's on you.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Attackers in
Fully healed. The barrier.
escort the payload.
High ground is OP. Hey, I mean, now that we've seen what the sequel trilogy looks like, the prequel trilogy looks like gold. Good. I don't like that you guys are just trying to fight this from low ground here. Your whole team should be doing a little more rotations of, hey, what can we do, rather than just trying to push through this, but we'll live.
The enemy
Back
Not
up.
as good as new.
Fine. Got that. That's what I'm talking about. They're never going to let you in. Okay. Take the space. Oh, I hate that we're pushing through here. Please rotate high ground, blue team.
We're on the move.
The payload has reached the
Nothing to worry.
You just don't need to use your shift there. Like, it is a meaningfully long cooldown. It's not as long as Lamp, but really that shift was for your Sigma. That's who it was for. And yes, your Sigma's discorded and in danger, but he has cover he can use if he really feels like it. You don't need to shift because he insists on standing in the doorway while he's discorded and critical. You can keep pumping, right-click shots into him and then go to your reload and go do it. Don't waste your shift just because he insists on holding this positioning that doesn't matter.
feel the warmth of the iris.
Good. No. So again, speaking of using big cooldowns when we don't
Nothing
need
to
to.
worry about.
Feel the warmth of the iris.
Get in here.
You have 8 shots left in your clip. That Zarya has a Harmony Orb, and that Orisa has a Discord Orb. Your Zarya has more health than the Orisa, and your Zarya has cover from all of the threats to her except for the Orisa. I know you turned and immediately did it, so your brain didn't necessarily process all that information, but processing even half of that information should have been a no, I'm going to throw right clicks rather than spend my biggest cooldown and possibly the most valuable piece of your kit on my Zarya here. It's less of a problem because you're staggering them, so you're unlikely to be punished for not having this cooldown, but you do want to, even in these cleanup situations, like this is a long enough cooldown that even in these cleanup situations you can potentially get punished for having used it in a cleanup situation because you won't have it for the beginning of the next fight, etc. Yeah, the correct way to push first, since I'm getting a question, is through high ground. You can go through here, you can go through here, depends what comp you're playing against. You'll never get a ladder team to do this, but you can even rotate up across through here, etc., and go like this. But generally you will see teams push up through here and through here. You get high ground control, and once you have control of this area and this area, then anyone can cleanly push the cart from here up to here, and it also makes challenging the back half of first, which is the much harder portion, much, much easier. So you want to do this through high ground. You take high ground, then you push the cart. You don't really worry about pushing the cart other than to here before high ground, because this high ground is so dominant. Like, controlling this high ground, specifically this portion right here, but this portion helps too, this whole high ground section gives you the first half of the map and makes the second half of the point much, much easier. I actually have a video up on my channel from like 2 years ago specifically about Gibraltar first point and how critical this controlling this area is. Widow, blue box, it was from a different meta, but the overwhelming majority of it still holds true. The team that controls this spot right here controls first point. And I'm not really exaggerating. This is one of the most powerful spots in the game. Unfortunate.
Activated.
Okay. And you're gonna lamp the landing, I assume? No, we popped trans. No, we popped trans. We popped trans. Okay, that one's on you. That trans was popped with plenty of time for you to know that, hey, we have our trans. There's no Anna on the other team that's going to not deny this. We've got to be more careful of this because this is, again, as we talked about, your biggest cooldown, a huge amount of BAP's value, and you just totally wasted it here. I do like that its positioning is around the corner this time, where it's harder to get destroyed, etc. I do like that. That's good, but it was wasted. Like, your trans had been going for a second, maybe 2 seconds before you popped this lamp. Like, you were walking in to pop this lamp when trans had already been popped.
Light them up.
Okay. Did you have window before?
Get in here.
You did. So it wasn't a terrible idea to window here, to go, hey, we can break this with our window, etc. And window is going to be one of our effective ways to break Bastion. But if that was the plan, you did need to do that while your trans was still going. You needed to combo this so that you had 2 seconds of trans left so that you could go, and we're going to blow you up while we can stand in the open to shoot through our window. Because you're not going to be able to step into the open to fight the Bastion through the window, which helps a lot when the Bastion can mow you down. So you needed the trans if that's what you were going to do. This is too late. It's already too late to drop the window for this plan. Now the correct way to break this is to get your high ground control. To get your high ground control. To get your high ground control. And guess what? The Bastion can't do squat from there. You can destroy him easier. If you're shooting him from here, from here, from here, he can't do squat. He does not have good mobility to reposition well. Or you can all just drop on him from here. And as long as he hasn't gotten up to here or up to here himself, if your team just comes up here and drops on him from here, it doesn't matter where he repositions to. Dropping from here or here, dropping from this high ground onto him, he won't have been able to do meaningful damage to you before you can close on him. And you have Lamp to help you close on him.
Light them up.
And all this strong high ground is why Bastion is such a not good pick, especially on offense on this point. Okay, just leave. Okay. What did I read wrong there? Did I just mix up my colors? Oh yeah, I'm just mixing up colors. Okay. Right click, Zarya. Thank you. Fine shift. Good lamp. You hit the shift. Do you even want to have this angle open? I mean, they've got the Orisa. You do want to take down the supercharger. Use yours barriered. Ashes the block. That supercharges over there. That's unfortunate. Close this angle. So if what you want to do is shoot at this is fine, but close this angle for two reasons. A, you're discorded, so you no longer want to be in this fight. You hard want to close this angle. I understand you wanted to contribute, you wanted to use your weapon, you went, hey, Bap does pretty good damage, I'm relevant, I want to have the angle open. Totally get it. Two things changed. One, you got a Discord. You will learn that Discord, especially for tanks, but even for you, Discord means I am no longer in this fight. I am going to leave. My contribution will be I can heal my team from here. I can heal my team from here while I'm discorded, but I am not contributing to this fight. I am not shooting at opponents until my Discord falls off, because it's just not a good trade to be in the fight. It is literally enough to go, I will stand over here where the opponents can't see me. I will carry Discord on me for 3 seconds or until it gets moved, which means the Discord isn't on someone else, and I will still be contributing my heals to this fight. That is correct. Discord is that scary and that big of a deal. But you have another option. You could go here and sort of go, hey, I'm going to close the angle on this Sigma that I was fighting, and now I'm going to be like here where no one can see me, and I'm going to continue to shoot at the shield. That's your other option. But as soon as this Sigma put the shield up, even if you weren't discorded, you wanted to close the angle, because you don't want Sigma shooting at you when you can't shoot at him, but you can shoot at his shield if you close the angle. You follow what I'm saying? So it's like, hey, well, if you're going to do that, I'm going to create a situation where you can't shoot at me, but I can shoot at your shield. And yeah, he'll pull back his shield, or you'll break his shield. You'll probably break his shield with what, how it works these days. And then you can reopen it and get on him after you've dropped the Discord. It's going to be really tough to push through. Unless your Pharah does work for you. Cheeky. You can boost up here with your Pharah. You can go over here with your Pharah. And you can go, oh, my Pharah is going to Missile Barrage, and I'm going to throw down a lamp for her while she Missile Barrages. Missile Barrage pukes out stupid, and I mean stupid, amounts of damage, but Pharah usually goes down really, really fast during it. Extending her life by even a second with lamp is a teamfight winning play. Again, I don't know if she communicated at all that that was her play, that that's what she's doing this fight, but if she did, or if you knew that she was doing, or if she pressed Z before the fight started to communicate that, totally a reasonable play for you to go around there, even though it means, yes, you're not going to be supporting your team as much that fight. You had time to step out of that. You 100% had time to step out of that, and now you're going to have to lamp it. You were probably going to lamp it regardless, but there was no reason for you to get caught in it. And you guys have the lamp plus trans. So, like, you guys know that's coming. Can you guys, like, talk when these... So, for some of these things, you just press it and it just happens, I get it. But with Flux, you, like, know when the incoming damage is coming. So, let's... I mean, I'm going to be... you can talk on comms. You can see, hey, Zen, you got it, or I got it, or one of you can say, I got it, etc. Is really quite fine. But let's look at this one more time. He hasn't popped it yet. He hasn't popped it yet. He hasn't popped it yet. Okay, you're reasonable at this point to have popped your lamp. Yeah. I'd like more communication, but, it's ladder. I get it.
Adaptive circuits engaged.
Into the unknown.
If this was an organized team, I would be livid that you guys are stacking your, defensives so consistently, but it happens on ladder. You just try to eliminate it with comms, etc., and by knowing whether he has trans or not, all that good stuff. Weren't any comms, only one in team chat. Yep, that happens. Not worried about it.
Regen burst activated.
Don't waste my
Mobility increased.
Assistance would be appreciated.
Much better.
You didn't really need that shift, but I get it.
Let them out. What is that melody?
And the reason I say that is he was behind cover. He wasn't actually in danger. He was waiting to get healed.
Regen up.
You want the shift available for when combat is a little more active.
Observe the back.
Nice. Stagger. You're gonna have to push cart, yeah.
fire at will.
My thanks. Push forward.
So, you actually only need one of you to push the cart. I know it feels like, oh, but I want two because that pushes it faster. It's not a big deal. One person on the cart gives it a base speed. We'll call that base speed 100%. A second person on the cart increases that speed by 33%. A third person on the cart increases, once again, your base speed by 33%. So that second person is only worth a third as much as that first person for the cart speed, which means instead being up here and taking an uneven fight where you have more people than them or making the fight more uneven is generally worth more because it'll get you more staggers. So you don't need multiple people back here pushing the cart unless you've either got them all in spawn or they're all alive again and you're going, okay, well, we might as well get as much cart distance as we can.
Regen burst activated. Barriers about to break. My barrier is destroyed.
I'd like you to swap to the monkey a little faster there with your weapon. So if you look at this,
Regen burst activated.
you see the Echo Mercy over there. Well, you saw the Echo at least. Poking down the shield is fine. The instant you see the monkey up there, I actually want you to pivot up and start shooting at him. Monkey has a really, really tough time if he's consistently taking poke damage before he can get in for his dive. So I want you shooting at him immediately, forcing his bubble before he's able to dive in, getting him to where he's missing 100, 150, 200 health before he can actually get into the fight. It is going to make him a very, very ineffective character. I would also like you to now close this angle. You don't need to be here quite this aggressive anymore. You can go, oh, hey, I'm going to work my way back over here, etc. Oh, look, there's still something for me to shoot at, all that good stuff. This, you have no cover, and you've done this quite a few times, this standing in the middle of the open with no cover thing. No cover for you, no cover you can put your lamp behind, no cover, no good. Like, yes, you have a weapon, so you need to be able to see the enemies because you do meaningful damage, but you can see some enemies from here, and if you don't like the damage that's coming, you can close it. You can see enemies from here, and if you don't like the damage that's coming, you can close it. You get the idea. Let's check that reload. It's a weird reload. That's a wrong reload. You just reloaded. And there was plenty of things you could do in terms of people that were available to you without moving, that you could heal, that you could, shoot at the opposing barrier, etc. Like, you didn't need to reload there. Push with it. Okay. So this is going to have to be a thing. Again, I don't mind when there's communication issues. Like this one back here, when you both got fluxed and he didn't pop trans early at all, totally fine. But this is like the second or third time where trans is going and you pop your lamp a good 1-2 seconds into it and it just can't happen. Like, unless you're like, oh, they're going to widow headshot us in the trans or something, which, by the way, they're not. this isn't a thing. Now, I know you're thinking, hey, it's the Junkrat tire. I've got to be worried. We've got to be here, etc., etc. You can hear the Junkrat tire isn't here yet. It's no, this is not correct. If it was, you'd have to know where the Junkrat tire was before you could pop this lamp. This lamp is not secure. This lamp is not safe. This lamp is out in the middle of the open where it is going to get destroyed if they want to destroy it before the tire comes. If you pop it at the last second while your trans is going, sure, I can live with it. Like, you put it behind here, your team is kind of huddled here, and oh, it's protected from the tire. Yeah, I can work with that. But this is just in the open. This tire isn't here yet. No, I'm not using my omniscience to know that. We will go back and I will do this with audio cues.
Adaptive circuits engaged. Fara.
So here's the trans. There's the fire in the hole. I hear the ult line.
Get in here.
I don't hear a tire yet. Do you guys hear a tire yet? Tire's not here. Tire's not here. Tire's getting closer, but tire's still pretty far away. Okay, now the tire's relatively close. And I'm doing that with audio cues, not what do you call it? Like, I could close my eyes and do this. Went further away, closer, and it's gone. Destroyed. So we totally wasted our lamp. We used our lamp when the tire was not yet a threat, and we used our lamp in a place where it could have been destroyed before it got here for sure, and we used our lamp while Transcendence was going. Gotta be better. Our lamps have to be better.
My ultimate is ready.
Pass into the unknown.
We should have still had lamp for this. If we have lamp for this, this is a team fight win instead of what's probably a team fight loss. I say as our team thinks about winning the fight anyways.
Someone's looking out for me.
It's gold for you. Fights get swingy.
The payload is approaching its destination.
Poke him out. Yep. Poke him out. Winston has a really, really bad poke phase. You need to punish him for that.
I need healing.
Yep. Press X. Good.
Somebody get the payload moving.
Nope. Stay on cover until this Discord falls off. Now you can poke again.
60 seconds remaining.
This is better. You're playing with cover much better than before. Just back out and shoot at him. Fine shift. You're up.
Let them up.
I was going to say please don't stand at the open here, but you're lining up a window. That's fine. You still don't need to stay here, though.
Rocket barrage incoming.
That melody.
Talk a little more about the window. I don't. And you guys should get it here.
30 seconds remaining.
Maybe not. Cold games are swingy. Okay. Your team's in enough danger that you're probably looking to lamp your way back into this. Unfortunately, it's going to get destroyed pretty quick, and you don't have a great place to put it. I mean, you can sort of put it behind payload, but that's not really going to protect it. You're just in a bit of a dicey situation. Did he just get the trance? You know what? It doesn't matter whether he just got the trance or not. We're not reviewing him. You shouldn't be backing away while your trance is going. You should be pushing forward, because if you're going to win this, you need to get an elimination on, say, that Junkrat, and that Junkrat literally can't kill you while the trance is going. He can try to knock you out of the trance, but he can't eliminate you. So you should not be retreating during this trance, because if you're actually going to win this game rather than just lose slower, you need to find an elimination or two during this trance. So you should be going, hey, I'm going to, double headshot, 2 bursts of headshots onto this junk. He's down. Now this fight is even again. Maybe we've got a chance of finding our way back in, etc.
10 seconds remaining.
And you lamp for your Zen here. Good.
Get in here.
You can't deal with Zen's full. You can't deal with this Zen. You shoot at the Mercy that's outside of the trance. It won't do anything, but it's better than nothing. She's discorded. You might be able to get on a limb on her through this. Yeah, if you'd already been shooting at her, she would have really struggled to go for that res. Okay. That's got to be the end. Yeah.
10 seconds remaining.
Okay, so that's what we've got. The biggest things I'm going to say for you, the thing I want you to first get an understanding for, because it's going to help you on any hero that you're going to play, it's going to help you at Overwatch in general, is you really need to understand the value of high ground, especially on the map of Gibraltar. High ground is really, really powerful, and you have such good access to it on BAP. I didn't go into it as heavily on your attack round. It's still just as good. I just covered it so thoroughly in the defense round that I would have been laboring the point. High ground is really, really good. From high ground, you can pretty easily just go, oh, I'm just going to back up and that denies my opponent's sight lines. I have almost unilateral control of whether the angle is open or closed when I have high ground on my opponent. Gives you, more headshots because of the direction that you're hitting them from. Surface area is better. You can still go, oh, I can still hit my teammates just fine. It stops heroes like Reinhardt from being able to access you. It's really, really good. It's also how you break things like, oh, this team, I can't break this, etc., etc. No, it's super easy to break this if you can shoot it from above, drop on it from above, close a lot of distance on it using the high ground as the thing in the way. High ground is really, really good, and you have easy access to it as BAP. I would like you to look for a lot more opportunities to use it, because you have your super boots that make that so easy and you can make good use of it. The other thing is you need to be careful about stacking your lamp with other defensives, big defensives, and by those I really mean Transcendence and Sound Barrier. So specifically what we're talking about here is I don't mind when, hey, an accident happened, you clearly tried on that attack where you both pop Trans and Lamp at the same time in response to the Flux. I get it, but I want you to be aware, do I have a Lucio or a Zen that have their defensive ultimate available? I want that to be something that you're actively aware of. You should be tracking your teammates' ult in these scenarios. That's going to give you some input on whether you pop your lamp or not. And the other thing I want you to be aware of is, okay, is a defensive ultimate, this is lower tier, this is, this is easier on the way there. Is this ult actually going? Like, do we have our Transcendence going right now? I don't need to be popping my lamp while we have our Transcendence going unless we just turned purple or there's a widow, we're in a grab and we're Transcendencing, but there's a widow on the other team and we don't have any barriers. There's niche situations where you could. But really, I want you to be much more careful with your lamp in terms of how you use it, much more conscious of what is my support partner doing if they are a Zen or a Lucio, because you really cannot afford to be using lamp wrong. It does do things like, oh, I used my lamp wrong here, and now lamp for Flux would be fantastic, and we don't have it. And that was not the only example. You had other stuff. You had something back here where you lamp and trans at the same time, and you could have been like, oh no, I can tell, etc. If comms are available and you can coordinate, fantastic. But comms are often not going to be available, especially on console. I totally get that. You can still do a lot better job with this. There's just not a good enough reason to be popping your lamp 1-2 seconds into a trance. That happened back here. That happened up here. That happened at least 3 times, I want to say. You overlapped it more than 3 times, but I can be a little more forgiving on some of those others. So those are going to be big things for you. I would say, hey, work on the high ground thing first. Really understand how valuable high ground is. Get, consistent about taking it when it's there. That doesn't mean if you don't like it, you can back off and drop right back to low ground. If you go, no, their hit scan is pressuring me out. No, the diva's jumping up at me. That's fine. You just drop right back to low ground. You're with your team. Everything's as it was, etc. But they had to use a cooldown to go push you or something like that. Or you're making them remember that that's a threat and they're checking, hey, are we being shot from above more often? And that means they're not looking at where your team is more often, etc. So high ground, really powerful. Please use it. And then not look into, and then really think about, is there another defensive ult that I need to be worrying about with my lamp usage here, etc. I hope that helps. If you have any more questions, throw them up in chat now. If you guys are enjoying the content, please do like and subscribe. That definitely helps me out. Or if you're looking to get coaching yourself, you can join my Discord through the description below and see what my rates look like, connect with other people that are getting coaching, looking for coaching, participate in the Recruiter Friend special, or, other just community stuff as the community grows. Do I see anything else? There weren't any comms. When would you say is the best time to use his healing burst? The best time to use his healing burst is when multiple people are going to benefit from it. So multiple people are missing some health, preferably including you, because you don't have another way to heal yourself, and you're actively in combat. Like the fight is actively happening. It's less useful to healing burst right here if you and two other people are missing health, but the opponents are all back here and don't have a sight line on you. They don't need healing burst. When they're actively in combat, though, like your, tank is standing right here, someone else is right here, they're actively in the fight. Who's here could close it if they want, but they haven't yet, and your tank is here and they're all missing health. Sure, press your shift, because what do you know? They're all, they're actively in combat, etc., and that's actively helping them. If they're here, just use your right click because it's not a cooldown. Just heal them up with your right click and press X to get your support to heal you because it's not a cooldown. If they're here, absolutely, go for it. Hope that makes sense. And that's what we've got. I think that's going to be it for now. I'll do some more streaming probably this evening. And, if you guys are interested, I'll see you then. Thanks.